Dear students, welcome to the channel of MyExamine. In this particular video, we will be talking about string constraint. Now, string constraint is very useful in certain chapter of mechanics like Newton's laws of motion, rotational mechanics, and particularly in simple harmonic motion. Now, here I will tell you a very simple method which is point-to-point method, and by which you can find the relation between the velocities and acceleration of certain blocks. So this is a very important point which will provide you with one equation when you are trying to solve a question in Newton's laws of motion or rotational mechanics or simple harmonic motion. So let us see how can we use this method. So let us understand this by considering a very simple system, which is a simple Atwood machine. Now suppose there are two blocks A and B. At a certain instant the block A has a velocity v1 and a1 in the downward direction, and block B has a velocity v2 and a2 in the upward direction, and I want to find the relation between v1 a1 and v2 a2. So how do we do this? Now when we are using this point to point method, now you need to consider this string. Okay, you need to consider this string. So here you can see that there are two segments of this string. So if you say this left segment is segment 1 and this right segment is segment 2, so there are two segments which I have drawn separately, left segment 1 and the right segment 2. Now look at certain look at the velocities of certain points on this segment. Always look at the bottommost points and the topmost points. So you can see over here, if the velocity of a certain point is such that it tries to increase the length of a particular segment, then we will consider that velocity to be positive. And if the velocity of a point is such that it tries to decrease the length of the segment, we will consider that velocity to be negative. So here you can see that when we are looking at this point over here, you can just follow my lead over here. If you are looking at this bottommost point which is connected to block A, it is moving downward with a velocity v1. So this point has a velocity such that it tries to increase the length of segment 1. So I will consider velocity v1 to be positive. And if you look at this point over here which is connected to block B, it is moving upward with a velocity v2 and it is trying to decrease the length of this segment 2. So I will consider velocity v2 to be negative. Now the topmost points, the points on these strings which are in contact with the pulley. Okay, so velocities and acceleration of these points which are in contact with the pulley will have same velocities and acceleration that this pulley has. So in this particular state you can see that this pulley will be at rest, therefore the points at the top of these two segments which are in contact with the pulley, these 2 points will also have a zero velocity and zero acceleration. So let us use this concept over here. Now when we have identified the velocities of certain points on these segments, you can just add these velocities and equate it to 0. It is as simple as this. So the velocity v1 is positive and the velocity v2 is negative. So I have taken positive v1. V1 is positive because it is trying to increase the length of this left segment, and v2 will be negative because it is trying to increase the it is trying to decrease the length of the right segment. So v2 will be considered negative. So minus v2 plus v1 is equal to 0. So I can say that v1 must be equal to v2. Now if you differentiate this expression, you will get the relation in acceleration of the two blocks. So I can say dv1 by dt is the acceleration a1 and dv2 by dt is the acceleration a2. So a1 will come out to be equal to a2. Now one very important point that you must remember while using this method, it might come in certain questions that the end points of these segments do not have the velocity along the string. The net velocity can be at a certain angle. So in that particular case, we will only be interested in the component of those velocities which will be along the string. So always remember, whenever you are marking the velocities of the points on the string, always take the components of velocities which are along the string. So we will take up an example based on this particular fact so that this particular concept will be more clear to you. Now let us take one more situation over here. Now suppose I have three blocks A, B and C, and certain instants the velocities and acceleration of the blocks are indicated in this diagram, and we need to find the relation between the velocities and the acceleration. So if you look at this string S1 over here, okay, by looking at this string S1 over here, I can say that if this block A has a velocity v1 in the downward direction, then definitely this pulley P must have a velocity v1 in the upward direction. This I can directly say from this previous concept. You can just imagine that if instead of block B there was a pulley over here, then definitely that pulley must be moving upward with the same speed that this block A has in the downward direction. So I can say over here that if block A has a downward speed of v1, then this pulley must have a velocity v1 in the upward direction. Similarly, if block A has an acceleration in the downward direction, the pulley P must have an acceleration a1 in the upward direction. Okay, now you can consider this string S2. Now I have drawn the two segments of this string S2 separately. So you can see the bottommost point of this left segment. The bottommost point of this left segment is connected to block B, and block B is moving upward with a velocity v2, therefore this point has a velocity v2 in the upward direction. The topmost point of this left segment, it is in contact with the pulley P, so the velocities and accelerations of this particular point will be same as that of this pulley. So if this pulley has a velocity v1 in the upward direction, so I will say that this topmost point of the left segment will also have a velocity v1 in the upward direction. Now coming to the right segment, you can see that the bottommost point is connected to the block C, which has a velocity v3 in the downward direction. So this particular point will also have a velocity v3 in the downward direction, and the topmost point will have a velocity v1 in the upward direction, since it is in contact with the pulley P. Now remember, we will consider the velocities to be positive if it tries to increase the length of a segment, and it will be considered negative if we try to decrease the length of a particular segment. So you can see that v1 in this understand this left segment first. This v1 will be positive because it is trying to increase this particular length. v2 will be negative because it is trying to decrease this length. And in the right segment also, v1 will be positive because it is trying to increase the length, and v3 will also be positive because it is trying to increase the length. So I can write for both segments separately. For segment 1 I can say that v2 will be negative, v1 will be positive. So v1 minus v2, this is for left segment, segment 1. And for the right segment I can say v1 is positive, v3 is also positive, so v3 plus v1, and we add this total term to be equal to 0. So from here I will get the value of v2 to be equal to 2v1 plus v3. So this will be the relation between the velocities of all these three blocks. Now if you want to find the relation between the acceleration of these blocks, you can differentiate this equation with respect to time, and you will get that derivative of v2 with respect to time will be acceleration a2. So a2 will be equal to 2a1 plus a3. Derivative of v1 will be a1 with respect to time, and derivative of v3 with respect to time will be a3. So this is a very simple method. You just need to identify the velocities of the endpoints of a particular string, and we will consider that velocity to be positive if it is increasing the length, and it will be considered negative if it tries to decrease the length. Then just add the velocities and equate it to 0. Let us look at some more different type of systems over here. Now suppose in this particular system it is shown, you can see this system, there are two blocks A and B, and also we have a pulley P over here. So at this particular instant I want to find the speed of block A when the block B is going up with 1 meter per second and pulley P is going up at 2 meter per second. Let us solve this first part in the beginning. So velocity of B I am taking as v1, velocity of pulley it is given in the upward direction, let me consider that this as v2, and we need to find the velocity of block A, so I am considering it in the downward direction, let us say v. Now you can we do not know the direction of velocity of block A, so you can consider this either in the downward direction or in the upward direction. If the answer comes out to be positive, it means the direction that we have assumed is correct, and if it comes out to be negative, it means that the direction that we have assumed is opposite to the actual direction that it must have been. Now first you must try to understand in this question that there is only one particular string. There are not two strings or three strings, there is only one string which has been wrapped around. Okay, so I have drawn all the segments of this particular string over here. Now let me call this segment as 1, let us say this is 2, let me call this as 3, 4, and this segment as 5. So you can look at the segment 1 first. Since segment 1, the bottommost point of segment 1 is connected to this pulley over here, let me say this as pulley P1. So the bottommost point of segment 1 is connected to pulley P1. So if the block B is moving upward with a velocity v1, then definitely this pulley P1 must also be moving upward with a velocity v1. Similarly, if the block A is moving downward with a speed v, then this pulley P2 will also move downward with a velocity v, because they are connected by an ideal string over here. So the bottommost point of this segment 1 is in contact with pulley P1. So if pulley P1 has a velocity v1 in the upward direction, this point will also have a velocity v1 in the upward direction. And if you look at the segment 2, the bottommost point of segment 2 is in contact with pulley P1. So the bottommost point will also have a velocity v1 in the upward direction, and the topmost point of segment 2 is in contact with pulley P. So if pulley P is going upward with a velocity v2, then this particular point will also move upward with a velocity v2. Now look at the segment 3 over here. The bottommost point of this segment 3 is directly connected to pulley P. So if pulley P is going upward with velocity v2, then this point will also move upward with a velocity v2. And the topmost point is in contact with a pulley which is at rest. So there will be no velocity of this topmost point. For segment 4, again you can say that the bottommost point is in contact with pulley P2, which is moving downward with a velocity v. So this particular point will also move downward with a velocity v. And the topmost point of this particular segment is in contact with pulley P, which is moving upward with velocity v2. So this point will also move upward with velocity v2. The last segment, segment 5, the bottommost point will have a velocity v in the downward direction, and the topmost point will have a velocity 0. Now let us see that we know that if the velocities are such that it tries to decrease the length, we will consider that as negative, and if it tries to increase the length, we will consider it as positive. So let us start with segment 1. So you can see that the segment 1 bottommost point has a velocity v1 such that it is trying to decrease the length. So I will take v1 as negative. So this is for segment 1. For the second segment, you can see bottommost point has a velocity v1 and it is trying to decrease this segment length. So v1 will be considered as negative, and the topmost point has a velocity v2 which is trying to increase the length of this segment. So we will take v2 as positive. So for second segment, we will have plus v2 minus v1. For third segment, v2 tries to decrease the length, so we will consider minus v2. This is for the third segment. For fourth segment, v velocity is trying to increase the length, v2 is also trying to increase the length, so both these velocities will be considered positive. And for the last segment 5, this velocity v tries to increase the length, so this velocity v will be positive. So I hope now it is clear that how we consider the velocities of various segments and take it to be positive or negative. Now if you solve this expression, you will get v equal to 2v1 minus v2. Now the value of v1 is given as 1 meter per second and v2 is given as 2 meter per second. So the value of v comes out to be 0. That means this block A will remain at rest. Okay. So let us use this concept to find the acceleration of block A also. We can directly use this concept that we have used in the velocities. We can also directly use this in acceleration, but there is a very important point that you must be cautious about, so we will talk about that later. So let us try to solve the second part. In second part, we are given that the block B has an acceleration a1 in the upward direction and the pulley P2 has an acceleration a2 in the downward direction. So a1 is 3 and a2 is 1. We need to find the acceleration of block A. So I have assumed that, let us say, block A is moving downward and it has an acceleration a. Now again I have drawn the various segments of this particular string. There is only one string, so we have to consider all the segments. Remember that the method that we used for velocity to calculate the relation between velocity, we can directly use that particular method to find the relation between the accelerations. But this will only work if there is some angle involved. That means suppose a particular string's orientation is also changing. So if the angle involved is also changing with time, then we cannot directly find a relation between the acceleration. So if the orientation of a string is also changing, then we will need to find the relation between velocities by the concept that we have studied till now, and we will differentiate that expression to find the relation between the accelerations. So since here the orientation of the strings are not changing, so we can directly use this concept to find the acceleration relation between the accelerations also. Now again let us say this is segment 1 segment 2, 3, 4, and let me call this as 5. For segment 1 we can say that the direction of acceleration a1 of the bottommost point is such that it is trying to decrease the length, so I will consider a1 to be negative. Okay, you can see that since this block B is moving upward with acceleration a1, then definitely this pulley p1 will also have an acceleration a1 in the upward direction, because this pulley p1 and block B is directly connected by a string. And similarly, since this block A has acceleration downward, so this pulley P2 will also have an acceleration A in the downward direction. Okay, so the bottommost point of this segment 1, this leftmost segment, the bottommost point, since it is in contact with pulley P1, so if pulley P1 has an acceleration A1 in the upward direction, this point will also have an acceleration A1 in the upward direction. So the points which are in contact with the pulley, they will have velocities and acceleration just like the pulley in which they are in contact with. The segment 2, you can see that the bottommost point will have an acceleration a1 in the upward direction, and the topmost point will have an acceleration a2 in the downward direction. So I have represented over here as a1 and a2. Segment 3, it is in directly in contact with pulley P. So pulley P is moving downward with acceleration a2. So this point, segment 3, the bottommost point of segment 3, it will also move downward with acceleration a2. The segment 4, you can see that the bottommost point of this segment is in contact with pulley P2. So if pulley P2 is moving downward with acceleration a, this point will also move downward with acceleration a. And the topmost point will move downward with acceleration a2 because it is in contact with this pulley P. And the last segment, segment 5, you can say that the topmost point will have no acceleration because this larger pulley you can see over here, this is at rest, so it does not have any acceleration. So the points in contact with this pulley will also have zero acceleration, and the bottommost point will have an acceleration a in the downward direction since it is in contact with pulley P2. Now let us use the concept that we have studied earlier for velocities directly over here in acceleration, because the orientations of the strings are not changing. There is no angle involved which is changing with time. So I can use this concept directly for acceleration also. So for segment A1, for segment 1, A1 will be considered negative because its direction is such that it is trying to decrease this length. For segment 2, A1 will be negative as well as A2 will be negative because both these directions are such that it is trying to decrease the length of segment 2. So for segment 2, you can say that A1 is negative and A2 is also negative. For segment 3, A2 is trying to increase this length. So we will consider A2 to be positive for segment 3. For segment 4, A is trying to increase the length, so this will be positive, and A2 is trying to decrease the length, so it will be negative. So we have written A minus A2. This is for segment 4. And for segment 5, A is trying to increase the length, so this will be positive. So if you solve this expression, you get A equal to 2A1 plus A2 by 2. And if you put the values of A1 and A2, you get the value of A as 7 by 2. So we are getting a positive answer over here. That means the direction that we had assumed for block A, the acceleration of block A in downward direction, this is the correct direction that we have assumed. Otherwise we would have got a negative answer over here. Now we can look at one more situation over here in which the angle which is involved, it is changing with time. So just now I have told you that if the angle involved is changing with time, then you cannot directly find the relation between the accelerations. In that particular case, we will find the relation between the velocities and differentiate it to find the relation between the acceleration. So since this angle theta will change, if the block B moves forward, then definitely this angle theta is going to change. So since the angle theta is changing, we cannot find the relation between the accelerations directly. So what we will do, we will find the relation between velocities. Okay, we will use the same method that we had used in the previous questions. We will find the relation between the velocities and then differentiate that particular expression with respect to time to get the relation in acceleration. Now I have drawn these two segments over. You can see that we have one segment and the second segment over here. So segment 1 and this is segment 2. So if block A is moving downward with velocity v1, then the bottommost point of segment 2 will also have a velocity v1 in the downward direction, and the topmost points will be at rest because they are in contact with this pulley P, and pulley P is at rest, therefore these 2 points will also be at rest. Now the point on the string 1, on the segment 1 which is in contact with block B, since this block B is moving forward with a velocity v, this point will also have a velocity v in the forward direction. But remember that we need to take the component of velocities which are along the string. So I have taken a component of v along the string, which is v cos theta. So this is a very important point, that if the velocity of a point is not along the string, you must always take the component of the velocity along the string. Now again use that same concept. For segment 1, you can see that v cos theta is trying to decrease the length of this segment 1. So we will take v cos theta is negative. Okay, and for the segment 2, since velocity v1 is trying to increase the length of segment 2, I will take v1 as positive. So I get the value of v1 to be equal to v cos theta. Next, if I differentiate this expression with respect to time, you can see that cos theta will not be a constant term because this theta is changing. So if I differentiate this expression, I also need to differentiate the cos theta term. So I've used the chain rule over here. So you can see that dv1 by dt will be dv by dt into cos theta, and then I've differentiated this term cos theta, which gives me minus sin theta into d theta by dt. So dv1 by dt is the acceleration a1 and dv by dt is the acceleration a, but d theta by dt for this segment 1, if I want to find the value of d theta by dt, we know that d theta by dt can be calculated as the net or relative velocity perpendicular to the string divided by the length of the string. So if this segment 1 has a length L, you can see that this topmost point does not have any velocity, but this bottommost point has a velocity component v sin theta, which is perpendicular to the string. So the value of d theta by dt will be the relative velocity perpendicular to the string divided by the length of the string. This is the basic concept. How do we find the value of angular velocity of a particular line? So d theta by dt will be equal to v sin theta divided by this length L. So if you solve this expression, you get a1 equal to a cos theta minus v square by L sin theta. So remember that the relation that we had in velocity and the relation that we are now having with in acceleration are very different. They do not look similar. But if the angle involved was not changing with time, so you can see that if the angle involved was not changing with time, here there are no changing of orientations of the string. So the relation that we had in velocity and accelerations are very similar. Okay, so this is a very important point, that if angles are changing, you cannot write a relation between the accelerations directly. So here if someone writes that a1 equal to a cos theta, this will be an incorrect expression. Okay, so if the angles are changing, just write the relation of velocity and differentiate it with respect to time. While differentiating, you will definitely get a term of d theta by dt. So I hope you have understood a basic method that how we are calculating the relation between the velocities and accelerations. So here we have some practice problem. You can solve this expression and try to verify the results. And if you have any doubt in these two questions, I have two questions over here, practice problem 1 and 2, and I have also given the answer for this practice problem 2. So if you find any doubt or if you have any difficulty while solving this question, let me know in the comment section below.